So before we get to the main video, I just thought I'd mention the big plan that we're hoping to do soon-ish. Basically, the current workshop is in a bit of a state, really. The other thing is it contains a lot of wood and metalwork equipment as well as the electronics, and I want to separate them out. So basically the first stage in this area is to create a new workshop fully dedicated to the electronic side, have everything in there we need, and a bit more space, a bit more storage, and we can keep it really neat and organized. That's the aim anyway. And yeah, that's basically the idea. So on we go. So sitting on its side here, because this sub has the actual speaker on the bottom, and I'm sort of slightly nervous of sticking something through it. So anyway, we have this sub, and doesn't seem to be doing anything much useful other than making sort of crackly kind of whooshy noises. I don't know if I can get it to do it for you. Yeah, I'm not sure if you can hear those pops and clicks. But anyway, we've got some line inputs, and we've got some speaker level inputs on here. But apparently it used to make these occasional kind of whooshy noises that I'm sort of hearing in the background. Yeah, I don't know if you could hear that there. It's quite a bit of it. Anyway, I'll turn that off a sec. But apparently now it does it all the time, and yeah, I've actually already tried to put a signal through it through the line input, and I'm getting absolutely nothing at the moment. So yeah, I figured it was actually, I thought it was actually working from what the guy was saying, but with this additional sound. But now it seems like it's perhaps not working at all. So we're going to have to get inside this thing, and so shock horror, we're going to have to take some screws out. I'll probably spare you that, to be honest, but we need to have a look at the board. There's only one way to do it, and that's to get it out. So we'll do that next. Okay, so as you can see, fast forward a little bit. Sorry for about the mess on the floor. I had to take the speaker out first in the end. This could be useful knowledge for you actually if you come across one of these, and then push out the amplifier assembly from behind, because it was incredibly tight. I just could not get it to shift. So anyway, that worked well. That's that bit. And then here we have, just rotate around a little bit here. Here we have our amplifier board, and as you can see, here's our speaker connections. Quite a compact little board. So this is our little input output board, and then this is supply, and that's your I don't know if you can see at the bottom there, that'd be the main amplifier chip down the bottom there. Now I've had a little inspect around here, and I don't know if you can see right in there, but sorry about the refocusing. Let's see if it will actually behave. If you can see around there, it's pretty cooked. Now that should provide a 12-volt supply, and without even looking at that, I bet that transistor has blown, and possibly surrounding components may have an issue as well. So we're gonna have to, I'll probably end up, because it's just a few capacitors and bits and bobs, I'll probably end up replacing the lot actually, just to be on the safe side, but I'm guessing that's probably it. Sorry about the rattling door, by the way. It's still very windy around here after the storm. So yeah, so I'm going to get this this board out now. It's been sat here a few days, so I'm pretty sure all the caps will be well discharged. In fact, I say that I've already put a meter on them, so I know they are. We don't want any lively moments, do we? So that's another thing. Again, I say this all the time, but be really careful with the larger capacitors, because they can hold charge a long time. I mean, these aren't massive. You can get a lot bigger ones than that hold, you know, several hundred volts. So, you know, you've got to watch yourself. Yeah, and be careful poking around anyway, especially with two hands. Anyway, so, oh yes, that reminds me actually, when you're probing, you want to probe without having to use two hands. A really good thing to use, I'm trying to pull one out here, but I can't actually get them this. I've got a tangly mess of cables over there. Anyway, you can get these little clip probes, and rather than the big croc clip style, they're just like a little hook, and I'll show you one when I get a sec. And they're really good and safe. You don't have to, once it's clipped on, it's basically going to be insulated. So I highly recommend those sort of things. Sometimes croc clips can be, you know, you're dealing with quite small things to hook onto, so you don't want to be, you don't want them springing off and then shorting across the board, or yeah. So anyway, just a little thought there. But the next job is to get this board out. It's only held on by a few screws. We're going to have some heatsink compound there, which I'm sure I'll get covered in. I'm betting the amplifier itself's probably okay, that chip, but we'll call it an educated guess, shall we? Okay, so we'll go from there. So I'd like to give myself a wee bit more slack down here, so this ground connection needs to come off. So I've got no wiggle room at all at the moment. So while I'm in here, I think I'll just swap over those caps, because it's a pretty quick job really, and we can be sure we've eliminated that as an issue then, because they could be leaky. Yeah, as I said earlier, probably just to replace that sort of entire area really, although the resistors around there are fine, the diodes are fine. So I think that's what we'll do, and then we can retest it. Well, gradually working our way through these capacitors. I've been measuring the ones I've been taking out, and virtually no capacitance left in most of them. So yeah, it was a good shout to replace those. I have a feeling I'll be replacing a lot more yet, but since I've started, I'll keep going. Right, so we have all our new bits and bobs in there. So we will start rebuilding it and redoing the horrible gunk at the bottom, and hopefully we can give it a test in a minute. Well, I think after a bit of faffing about, we have a working unit. I'll just change the frequency here a little bit, stretch over, because I'm doing this one-handed. So there we go. I'm going to turn that off for a minute so we don't deafen ourselves. Yeah, so I can probably show you in a minute that I had to do quite extensive board repairs, track repairs, because as this thing had been cooking itself, it had actually damaged various tracks and pads, etc. So yeah, but it all seems pretty secure and nothing's cooking, no significant drawing of current or anything like that. So I think we have a winner. It's certainly, I mean, certainly before, not only could I hear this whooshing noise that was reported, but I could hear, well, no audio through it. So we do at least have that now. Turn that off now. Yeah, so I'm quite pleased with that, because it's a fairly quick fix, and this guy can have his subwoofer back. So anyway, as I said, I thought I'd show you some of the back of the board and some of the bodge wires. But, you know, you do what you have to do. There you go. So people love seeing this so much, don't they? Here we are, putting some screws back into a speaker. And hopefully not too hairy a hand. Yeah. Look at that. Magic. So, the moral of the story really is, you know, do the obvious when you have a repair like this. So obviously replicate the fault. That's the first thing, which is what we did. I mean, in fact, it was worse than what was reported. I didn't have any sound through it at all. So, yeah. And then don't be afraid to accept the obvious. I mean, I looked at the board, as you could see in the video, and the area was pretty cooked. So it's a pretty good place to start, isn't it? I mean, fix what's obvious first. And luckily, in our case, that was all that was required. So I say all, it's quite a few capacitors. I changed a couple of transistors that were all cooked, and then being a bass speaker, basically, the signal generator needs to be on quite a low frequency. Otherwise, you know, you can tell as you go up through the frequencies, it starts to attenuate. So, you know, you're not going to hear anything if you're not careful. So, put it on a low frequency, and away you go, really. But yeah, that was about it. But you know, capacitors failing is a very, very common issue. We had capacitors measuring virtually nothing, really. So yeah, it's a fair bit. So yeah, there you go, really. So yeah, hopefully we got a few more interesting videos coming up. So keep in touch, keep looking, and we'll see what we get. Yeah, that's about it, really. But keep an eye out for future projects, and you know, yeah, should be good. But we'll see you soon in the next one. Cheers for watching.